minute here. Okay, that's up. All right, let's broadcast. Let me share screen first. Broadcast. Share screen. Welcome, friends, to Flashback, Powerful Reminiscing at Home. We are going to wait just about 30 seconds and we'll get started. We've got about 80 people signed up today. We've got 20 of us on the call at this moment. So hold tight and we'll get started in just a second. Well, welcome, friends. This is Flashback, Powerful Reminiscing at Home. My name is Benjamin Sermi. I'm a social gerontologist and Director of People and Culture for Kelch Communities. I am passionate about helping people thrive at any age, no matter what is going on in their life, helping people thrive. And so I've been privileged to be part of this online series where we're bringing experts to you from around the world to share what they're up to, innovative things that they're doing. And so I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. Before I do that, a few housekeeping announcements for you. The first one is that I want you to know on your screen, if you hover around where your mute button is, you'll see a couple options. You may not have all these options, but you will have at least two of them. They're highlighted in yellow. One is the Q&A button. Anytime you have questions that you're thinking about during this presentation, go ahead and click Q&A and it will pop up a little screen where you can enter your question. I'll be checking that throughout the time. Pam will be checking it, and we'll be trying to get to as many of those questions as we can along the way. Now, Pam may also ask you a question. She may say, hey, I want to know this, or I want to know that. Well, then on the bottom of your screen, you'll also find chat. If you're on your PC, it may be at the top of your screen. If you click chat, you can actually type in a response to what Pam has just said. So she's able to understand her audience a little bit better. So that's a quick housekeeping note. We are giving away the Caregiver's Care Package designed by a licensed family therapist. And so if you'd like to be entered into that drawing, I'll show you how to do that. Along with the Caregiver's Care Package, we're giving away a journal for family caregivers or professional caregivers. And it's a great journal to help you make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because you can't take care of the person you care about unless you're taking care of yourself. So we'll be giving those away. If you're interested, you'll go to livingwellevents.org/insights at the end of this presentation. For most of you, it'll pop up automatically. For those of you who it doesn't, you can go to that website real easily. And Pam will also be sharing either the slides or a little PDF after this. If you want to get any of Pam's resources, be sure to fill that out at the end of the presentation. Now, I'd like to take a moment to introduce Pam Brandon. She is the CEO of Age-u-Cate. She founded Age-u-Cate. She has experience with founding and running museums, and she has experience as a family caregiver herself. And so she created Age-u-Cate to really bust open how we do education for people who take care of those living with dementia or those who are aging, because in most of the world, education in that arena is so boring. It's all on PowerPoint, and it is so boring and not very effective. And so Pam wanted to bust wide the doors and create new ways of educating people. So Pam, with that, I want to let you take the stage and share with us today about Flashback and about what you're doing at Age-u-Cate.
All right. Hi there. Nice to see you again, Benjamin, and thank you all the people out there who are attending, and I'm excited to share Flashback. And you know, in this time of the uncertain waters that we are navigating, what a great time to be creative. We have to take care of ourselves, as we all know. For those of you out there who are family caregivers and staff who are caring for loved ones in this time of uncertainty and heightened anxiety, we need to look for more tools. And certainly, as Benjamin said, I am really passionate about hands-on education. In fact, he mentioned that I ran a museum. I started a hands-on children's museum 25 years ago. But when I became a family caregiver, I kind of transferred a lot of that passion for hands-on education, because I saw the need for us to be able to experience for ourselves what it's like to walk in the shoes of people living with dementia, and tools that could just better equip what we need as care partners, whether we're families or staff. So I'm just very excited to be able to share our Flashback program and talk more about what reminiscence is and emotional memories. So with that, I am just going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to roll into Flashback. So let's go ahead and get started. And all right. So we've got, and I am going to be asking some of you for your feedback. So if you will just, you know, when I ask something, go ahead and send that answer in, and we'll try to keep engaged as much as we can through this. So we're all getting used to technology and new ways of communicating. So this is going to be fun. So Flashback is about igniting our senses, evoking memories, and changing relationships. And how do we do this? Well, we do it through pictures, we do it through things, and it's going to show us how emotional memories can be so powerful, but how do we trigger those? And for some of you who are looking at the screen right now, at the pictures right now, you may already be being triggered by some thoughts, whether it's the Barbie or Furby or the big wheels. Maybe one of these things that you're seeing is going to spark some memories for you, something that that has, you haven't thought about these things for a while, but all of a sudden you look at them and you think, oh my goodness, I remember when. So we're gonna dive right in, and we're going to have some engagement now. And I'm going to show you, I guess throughout this whole presentation, we've got about 15 to 18 of the pictures. The Flashback set comes with 100 pictures. So let's go ahead and get started. So we see two pictures here. And can anybody tell me what these are? I'm gonna chat those in. Here we go. We're already getting, yeah, troll dolls. I'm loving the chats here. And who could forget Howdy Doody and Buffalo Bob? So how many of you thought of something when you looked at this that sparked your interest? And you can hold that for now, but if you have a pen and paper there, just maybe jot down just real quickly why this, either the troll or the Howdy Doody, sparked something in you. Okay, let me go ahead and show you the next one, which I'm not able to, for some reason, not able to. Okay, here we go. Here's the next one. Sorry about that. All right, how about this? Does anybody remember this? Sorry about that. I'm trying to get used to watching my chat screen at the same time. All right, lots of answers out here with Pacman. Lots of time that Pacman was, many people spent lots and lots of time on Pacman. Okay, let's look at the next one. How many of you remember this? So many people out there, I'm sure, as young teens, the junior high group, when we had the origami fortune tellers, was that my boyfriend? Let's see, we were talking about boyfriends, all kinds of things that we could ask the fortune teller. And then we've got the 45 RPMs. Now, let me mention to you that the flashback cards come in 5 decades, sorry, not 5 generations, 5 decades. So we're spanning from 1950 to 2000. So loving the answers, vinyl in the turntable, the fortune telling thingy. I made this all the time. I love it. Yeah, I think many of us can remember that. My 7-year-old uses them still. Oh my goodness. That's great. Awesome. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, so if there are people out there who were not doing the hopscotch, and I know this one is backwards, and I apologize, I don't know how that happened, but how many times how many memories we have with our friends and siblings playing hopscotch, the days when that was a big thing. We don't see kids doing that very often, do we? How about the lunch boxes? How many of you were out there remember picking out a lunch box, kind of like the kids do now with the backpacks. But back then it was a show of our lunch boxes, wasn't it? All right, let's look at the next one. Hubba Bubba Gum. How many of you out there remember going to the candy store and getting your Hubba Bubba Gum? Best bubble gum ever. I agree. Terrible for your teeth, but it was great bubble gum. And they still make it today. But it's much more expensive today, and you have to, I think, find it in specialty stores. Okay, now we're going back a little ways, even further than Hubba Bubba Gum. Anybody remember the transistor radio? And how about some of you out there may actually remember the rain bonnet? Certainly, if you didn't use it, your mothers or grandmothers used it because they would go to the beauty salon every week and get their hair done. So those rain bonnets were in many, many purses of our moms and aunts and grandmothers. One of you said my mom's favorite rain hat. There you go. I very much remember my mom having it always with her so that her hair didn't get messed up. How many of us spent hours on end at the roller rink or outside when we could just go and play without worrying about things with the roller skates? And I have to ask, how many of you wiped out in roller skates? I don't think I can remember days when I didn't wipe out at some point. I had these, and my son then used them for his skateboard. Spent hours reattaching them to my shoes. They would come off easily, absolutely. Not only that, but the keys getting lost. Yeah, these were wonderful, dangerous little items, weren't they? But certainly we can remember, for many of us, that was all we had. So it was fun and useful. Now we're going to go back a little bit even further to remembering technology. Well, I think it was about the same time. In fact, the Apple computer came out after roller skates, but yeah, the technology of yesterday, haven't we come a long, long way? Floppy disks. I wonder how many of you still have floppy disks out there in the back of your closets. Almost hard to remember what it was like, but so exciting when that came out. The typewriters, I'm sure many of you, like I did, learned to type in high school with a typewriter that looked much like this, and many of us had them in our homes. So I'm going to stop for a minute and ask you, how did these pictures make you feel? Do you feel different right now after looking at some of these? Somebody said young at heart. I like that because it brought back sparked some memories. It ignited some feelings. What's changed? Allowed us to reflect, to step back from today and today's challenges, and just think about a time that that was a different time in our lives, and many times a happy time. Not that this isn't a happy time, but right now it's not a real happy time for many of us. I love your answers. Fun to go back in time. Time passes by so quickly, doesn't it? Delighted, smiling. Things seemed simpler back then. Certainly agree with that. Makes me open up, nostalgic. Love the answers. I think all of these are exactly what we talk about when you're really expressing what it is to experience emotional memories. You know, we don't think about on a daily basis. Certainly we don't get up thinking about roller skates or Barbies or big wheels or Furbies or Howdy Doody, but just seeing those sparked those memories, didn't it? That was so amazing. So let's look at reminiscence and just talk about reminiscence and how it's so impactful when you look at reminiscence and emotional memories together. Reminiscence is what many life engagement programs are about now. And what does this really mean? So it means sharing life experiences, stories from the past. It's about the memories that we have where we can ignite those moments with other people, ignite the memories of those moments of people we loved in our families, our friends, or special moments. Might bring up thoughts of birthdays or special holidays, those things that can spark long ago memories. Why is it important for persons living with dementia? Typically, a person with dementia is more able to recall things from many years ago rather than our recent memories. So it draws on the strength that many people do have who are living with dementia, and that is the ability to draw on those long ago memories. So where they might not remember anything today or the past few days or weeks or recent years, they might be able to grab those memories from long ago, from their childhood, from their early adult years, from their early parenting years. So that's where Flashback, although it can be enjoyed by all generations, is particularly helpful for people who are living with dementia. So reminiscence can offer people with dementia a sense of competence and confidence through using a skill they still have. And I think that's important when we look at tools that we have in our toolbox when we're helping people with dementia, whether we're a family care partner or whether we're a professional care partner. It's important that we the Six Flags guy, yay, you got it. That we do have to have those tools that will draw on the competencies and skills that they still do have. And we can help them with this, and we need to help them with that. And that's what these types of tools do, is they empower them. with finding the skills that they have. As many of us know, oftentimes it's kind of a puzzle piece you need to put together as people with dementia's symptoms progress and they go into different phases. We have to walk alongside them, don't we? Okay, so how does it ignite our senses? This picture is not in Flashback, but I just love it because it says so much about igniting our senses. Plus, I'm a gardener, so I love anything to do with nature. What about this? How many of you remember? And there are guys out there, I think you're going to remember this just as much as the ladies. But how about some feedback? I always stuck in my hair. Let me tell you what this was a training that we did with one of our other programs, Dementia Live. We were using the Flashback program and integrating it with Dementia Live training. And this was years ago, and one of the staff stopped because we had done the whole Flashback exercise in that training class. And so she had chosen the cards with the sponge rollers on them. And so one of the things we do is when we're doing in-person training with Flashback is allow everyone to choose cards and then to look at the pictures and share what it is why did they choose that card? We really start with just choose cards and then go around the room and allow us to all share. So she had the sponge rollers and she said, I can remember on Saturday nights going to my grandmother's house. And before, I'd always go Saturday night because we'd go to church the next morning. And every Saturday night, she put my hair in sponge rollers. And she said, I can feel it now, my grandmother's hands in my hair on Sunday morning as she unrolled the sponge rollers. And I can still feel her hands in running through my hair. And it was such a comforting feeling. And I just always captured that, the essence of what she was saying and how she was saying it and how it truly did ignite her senses. One of you said, reminds me of my great mama's beauty shop. So I can only imagine, I'd love to hear more of that story. But that's how these pictures and things can capture those feelings for all of us in such a powerful way. So what about changing relationships? So we all possess memories of our unique life history. Recalling the past is a means of owning it and hence preserving ourselves. It is the here and now process which holds the teller and the told in relationship with each other. And I think that's a very impactful statement of saying, it's that whole person-centered care philosophy of we're all people. Even when we change with dementia, we all have a unique past, we have a unique history, and that's what makes us who we are. And so as care partners, we just need to learn to tap into that and understand that there's still so much more they have to laugh about and share with us and allow us to learn from them. And if pictures of things can do that, how can it hurt? So let's talk about conversation starters. You might take a card and say, this looks interesting. Can you tell me about it? Now I'll just use the typewriter as an example. I've never used a typewriter. Can you show me how, can you talk to me about how to use one? And how did you use it? They might have been a secretary in their years, and we don't hear that term even very much anymore, but that might be a topic that would be a conversation starter. This might be must be from the time you grew up. I'm curious about it. And one thing that Flashback will do is allow the person who is looking at the card, your care partner, your older adult, to feel a sense of empowerment because they can remember about that and they can tap into those memories. So, wow, they feel a sense of accomplishment and sense of purpose. So many ways that you can engage. There's no right or wrong. There's just guidelines that help us to be able to open up and learn from each other. Watch for their responses. Has your care partner's mood or expression changed? Has yours? I can tell from the responses from the participants that your mood has changed. Did you learn something about his life and interests and past? Certainly, we know that when we use Flashback, and many care communities have Flashback as one of their life engagement activities, that the care partners do learn from them. They learn something new about that person that they didn't know before, just by starting a conversation and engaging them. It's great for one-on-one activity. As you can see, just spread the cards out in front of you and just pick up some that you think might be applicable to that person or spark an interest, and you'll be surprised at what conversations you can spark and emotions you can spark with that person. And here's in a small group engagement activity. So this was especially fun to watch because after a while of being here with this group, we just let them go. The care partners walked away, and the residents here just had a great time between the three of them, looking at the cards and sharing and laughing, doing a lot of laughing. And it was wonderful to see them being able to do that completely on their own. So that's too is important, that we give them that individual space when it's appropriate. So I added this in here just because lots of Easter baskets will be made this weekend for people. And I thought, well, things, whether they're a picture or things like, this is a gardening one that I picked out, not surprising, I'm a big gardener, but I thought, what a great thing to do. And I know we're all social distancing and we're isolated, but if we can sanitize some things and leave it on our loved ones' porch or somewhere where they can, somehow get to it, or we can think about it just as, hey, it's time for me to be creative and learn about how I can put together, whether it's a memory box or a memory basket or whatever it is. Maybe it's an album of family pictures. What a great time to do that. It can be use of hobbies, occupations. Let your creativity soar. That's what this is all about. So flexibility is important with any life engagement and tool that we have. So Flashback can definitely be used in a variety of settings. Very intergenerational. Young people enjoy it as much as older people, and those with dementia, it's obviously created especially for that purpose, but I promise you, anyone can have fun with Flashback and have fun together or by themselves. It is not structured. And as I talked about just a few minutes ago, it can be engaging with a care partner, but sometimes something that they can do all on their own. And that's important too, that we give them those opportunities to do an activity on their own and have them feel empowered. I think the engagement part with the care partners, where we have that relationship building that's so important. So it includes 100 vibrant 4x6 cards from the 1950s to the 2000, leader guide, answer guide, and an online learning tool that comes with the program that we give you a link to. And the cards can be cleaned with disinfectant wipe. It's heavy duty paper and very glossy. So no problem with that at all. So that's important today as well in keeping everything disinfected. And this is more information if you want it. We are going to be giving away through Benjamin a free pack of Flashback. So I'll work with Benjamin on that, but that will be our gift to you today. I really thank everyone for being here. I want to encourage you to be creative during this time of social isolation. Think of ways that you've never thought about before to engage with your loved one. I know it's very, very hard for those of you in community, but this is the time for us to come together and do what we can. And I thank you very much. Thank you, Benjamin. I'm 2 minutes over, so I will turn it back to you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for what you shared with us today. You know, we see over and over again how powerful it is to reminisce with people living with dementia. It's one of the most powerful things that we can do. So very, very grateful for the tips, etc., that you provided. I just wanted to show everybody on the screen here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm having some trouble with my computer, pardon. But this is the address if you do want to be entered into the drawing for the Flashback kit that Pam is talking about, as well as the Caregiver's Care Package. So we'd love to have your feedback on this presentation as well as you enter in the drawing. Thank you for being with us today. We do have next week, we've got some amazing chefs who will be talking about how to design plates, design your food, your meals so that they just look great. These people also have a lot of experience working with seniors and specifically people with dementia. And they'll be talking about how even you can work through puree and mechanical soft diets and make them look more presentable, which is always very challenging to do. And then I believe next week we also have the creator of Spin Poi, Dr. Kate from New Zealand, who will be on sharing with us how they use the ancient Maori practice of poi to help elders at all ages and all abilities grow in attention, balance, and grip through a very simple but engaging kind of movement program. So thank you, Pam. Any last words for our guests today? Any last words of wisdom? Okay. Well, hey, y'all have a great day and we'll talk soon.
Thank you all.